Most people focus on optimizing their spend for groceries or travel, and to be fair, that's a smart place to start. The problem is a lot of them end up earning 1 or 2% back on everything else. Your gym, your pets, concerts, thrift stores, transit, streaming, even Amazon. Those charges may seem small, but when you add them up, it could end up being hundreds of dollars per month. And at only 1 or 2% back, you could be leaving hundreds of dollars on the table in cash back every single year. The Wells Fargo Attune earns an unlimited 4% cashback on a large portion of that spend, all for $0 and no cap. Now today, I'm breaking down exactly what categories this card covers, how much cashback it actually earns on a real monthly budget, one of the most interesting plays on this card with Amazon. Then I'll show you two setups, one pure cashback and one travel. And I'll show you how this card can make sense with both of them. And if you want to figure out how the Attune or any other credit card works for your individual spend, I built a free credit card ROI calculator as part of my rewards and returns guide. You plug in your monthly spend by category, and it tells you exactly which card earns the most for you. Link is in the description, so grab it if you're interested. Now, if you enjoy credit card breakdowns like this, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the weekly content. We're on the quest for 500 subscribers, and everyone counts. All right, let's get into it. So everyone fights over the best dining card, the best travel card, the best grocery card. And look, those are big categories. It makes sense to optimize there first. But what about the rest of your monthly spend? Think about what you're actually swiping on every single month. Think about all those extra categories we talked about earlier. What are you actually getting on those? For most people, at best, you're earning 2% on those. At worst, 1x or nothing. And these aren't tiny categories either. Add it all up, and it's a real chunk of your monthly spend, just sitting there earning almost nothing. The Attune was built to cover exactly this spending. Let me walk you through what you get with this card. Now, for a $0 annual fee, you're getting a MasterCard World Elite credit card. It comes with a $100 welcome bonus after spending $500 in the first 3 months, plus a 0% intro APR for 12 months on purchases, which is solid if you have bigger purchases coming up. Just make sure you're paying off your balance in full before that window ends. Now for the main event, the 4% categories, and there are a lot of them, so get comfy. Really, you can look at these as 3 main buckets. You got your self-care categories, which are gyms, fitness studios, spas, salons, barbershops, and massage parlors. Then you have your sports, recreation, and entertainment categories. This is things like concerts, movies, sporting events, amusement parks, pet supply stores and grooming stores, gardening stores, craft shops, hobby stores, bookstores, and streaming services. Lastly, you have your planet-friendly categories, which is public transit, EV stations, thrift stores, and bike shops. Now, everything else outside these categories earns 1% back. And the part that makes this card so great is it's all uncapped. No city custom cash $500 cap with this one. Whether you spend $200 or $2,000, if it's on eligible categories, you're getting 4% back on all of it. So how much does all of this actually add up to? Well, let me run the numbers on an example budget to find out. And this isn't some fantasy spend profile. This is just an average person going about their life. So let's say for this person, they got an average gym membership at $50. They got a dog, so they're spending on pet food and supplies, that's another $50. They get one haircut a month, that's another $40. A couple streaming services, that's $45. They take the train to work, that's another $100. Then they hit an entertainment concert or two, that's another $75. Finally, they go to a thrift store or a couple hobby shops a month, that's another $40. Now for all that spend, we're looking at about $400 a month, which equates to $4,800 per year. And at 4%, that's $192 in cash back every single year you could get. Now on most cards, these same categories are earning you 1 to 2% back. That's $48 to $96 on that same spend. So without this card, you could be leaving $96 to $144 on the table every single year. For a card that costs you nothing, the value here is honestly insane. And in my opinion, this is probably one of the most slept on credit cards in the game right now. And it's one you almost never hear credit card YouTubers talking about. Now what makes this even crazier is this is before we even get into one of the most interesting parts about this card, and that's the potential earn on Amazon. Now remember I mentioned there may be a way to get 4% back on Amazon for free. Here's why people are talking about that. Now every merchant has something called a merchant category code, or an MCC. And when you swipe your card, the rewards you earn are based on that code, not necessarily what you bought. Now, Wells Fargo lists bookstores as an Attune 4% category. So because of that, some people have tested it on Amazon to see if it might code in the way that triggers 4% back. But I want to be clear here. This is not a guarantee, and merchant coding can change. So don't treat it as a clean 4% on Amazon for every purchase. Treat it as a possible play and an added cherry on top if the card works for your lifestyle. And while we're on the topic of the merchant category codes, let me give you a quick reality check here. There are a lot of merchants that line up well with the Attune's categories. But again, merchant coding is what decides this, not the logo on the front of the building. So if you aren't sure about a store or service, take a look online and see if someone else bought something from there first, or go with a small transaction first. So you've got your 4% on lifestyle categories with the possible upside on Amazon depending on that coding. But what really makes this card stand out for me is its versatility. This isn't meant to be your only card. This is meant to be your glue card, the card that makes your whole setup actually work. Now let me show you what I mean. If you're running a Chase wallet, your Sapphire Preferred covers dining, travel, and streaming. That's great. But your gym membership, your pets, your concerts, a lot of those lifestyle categories, that's where the Sapphire Preferred starts to leave gaps. Toss in the Attune here, and now a lot of those same categories can earn you 4%. Same thing with Amex. The Gold covers dining and groceries at 4x. That's one of the best cards in the game for those categories. But your gym, your lifestyle categories like thrift stores, and all of those other ones, those are getting nothing. That's where the Gold doesn't do much. The Attune can pick up a lot of that slack. Then you toss in a 2x or a 2% catch-all card, and you've got a setup that's really cooking with some fire. Doesn't matter what ecosystem you're in, this card can provide value on day one. Now let me show you two specific setups that I think would work really well with this card. One for cashback and one for travel. For the cashback setup, you pair the Attune with the Capital One Savor and the Fidelity Rewards Visa. With this, you've got the Savor for 3% on dining, groceries, and entertainment and streaming, the Attune for those other pesky categories at 4%, and I'd use the Fidelity Rewards Visa for 2% on everything else. 3 cards, $0 annual fee, 2 to 4% on everything you spend. Now, if you want travel points instead of cashback, here's the other plan. Pair the Attune with the Wells Fargo Autographed. If you missed my autograph video on why that card is a beast in its own right, check it out. But if you have, you'd know it covers dining, travel, gas, and streaming at 3x points for a $0 annual fee. Then the Attune covers those other 4% categories on all eligible purchases. Now here's the part that makes this pairing really interesting. If you hold both cards, the Attune can become a strong support piece in a broader Wells Fargo setup. Add in the active cashier as your 2% catch-all, and that's the full Wells Fargo trifecta. Every category covered at 2 to 4x, all for a $0 annual fee. Now I'm going to be doing a full breakdown on this trifecta in an upcoming video, so make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss that one. Now whether you're running a cashback setup with the Savor or a travel setup with the Autograph, the Attune is the piece that ties it all together. The key is that 4% on categories a lot of cards ignore. Plus no annual fee, no cap, and it works with the cards you've already got in your wallet. Let me know your thoughts on this cards in the comments below. My verdict is it's a gem, but I want to hear from you. Alright, that's all I got for you guys today. Subscribe, hit the like button, and check out the calculator. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.